Most people think Bombay came first, that Mumbai was a later rename. Political, modern, imposed. It wasn't. Mumbai is the oldest name on this coastline, and hidden inside it, inside the word you've been saying without knowing, is the name of a demon. A demon, a goddess destroyed, right here on this shore. Her victory has been on your lips every time you said the city's name. You just didn't know it. Before Mumbai was a city, it was 7 islands. Low, marshy land ringed by restless water, mangroves clawed from the mud. A vast gap called the Great Breach let the sea surge in at every high tide, reminding the land who was in charge. And yet people lived here, the Kolis, fishing communities who called these islands home long before anyone drew a map. Picture a grandmother before dawn, mending a net by oil lamp. Nearby, a boy runs along the rocks, counting boats as they push off. 7 leaves, 7 must return. His mother stands in the doorway, lips moving not to the boy, to the sea. Racks of drying bumbil scented the air, coarse rice and dried fish, dinner, most nights the only one. Every morning boats went out, every evening brought relief or grief. No middle ground. The sea gave them everything and it took when it chose, without warning, without apology. According to Mumbadevi temple tradition, the danger on this coast did not come only from the sea. His name was Mumbaraka. Temple lore says he was once a great tapaswin, a devotee who performed brutal penance and earned a boon. He could not be destroyed by gods, men or beast. Every path to defeat sealed. But the devotion that made him powerful curdled into cruelty. He ruled through scarcity. Where Mumbaraka moved, fish vanished. Nets returned torn or not at all. Boats that left at dawn were found days later, overturned as if something had played with them and grown bored. The coast began to starve. First hunger, then illness, then fear, the slowest poison. It kills a part of you that believes tomorrow will be different. The Kolis stopped singing. The grandmother stopped mending her nets. The boy stopped counting boats. Some mornings there were none. The people had no armies, no divine weapons. One thing, invocation. They lit oil lamps along the shore, brought flowers, rice, the last of their coconuts. They called on Amba, invoked Shakti. Days passed, offerings washed away, lamps blew out each night. Each morning someone relit them. Then the worst night came. A boat carrying a father and his 2 sons left at dusk. Dawn came. The boat washed in, split clean in half. The men gone. That morning the elders said what everyone feared. It's over. Walk inland. Forget the sea. But the women refused. One by one they returned to the shore. Not with offerings. There were none. Not with ritual. Ritual had failed. Only their voices. They sat where waves struck rock and called as a child calls for its mother in the dark. Without technique, without scripture. Just come. Please. Come. Tradition says she answered, but not gently. The tejas of the Trimurti converged. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Their radiance fused into a form the boon had never accounted for, something older than the rules. Shakti, 8 arms, a weapon in each hand, not ornament, boundary. She rode a lion, not descending in light, but riding towards the coast, towards the water, towards a place where fear was thickest. She came to fight. The Kolis did not call her by a Vedic name. They called her by what they felt, Mumba. Some say it comes from Maha Amba, the great mother. Others say it was always local, shaped by Koli tongues. In their dialect, a goddess is not distant. She is I, mother, not a formal prayer, a household call. Either way, she was theirs. The battle happened here on this coast where the Arabian Sea meets the land that would one day hold 21 million. The sea rose like a wall, grey-green waves reared and slammed against the rocks. Boats snapped their ropes. The sky went dark, not cloudy, dark. Then the wind, sideways, colder than monsoon, carrying a low vibration as if the coastline itself were groaning. The people ran, families pressed against walls in the dark. Then through the storm a roar from the shoreline, from the place where chaos was thickest. Mumba stood there, feet planted where land meets water, 8 arms moving, not in prayer, not in dance, in combat. The trident caught a wave midair and broke it, the shield held against a force that had shattered boats for months, and the force broke first. Mumbaraka fought like one who believes he cannot lose, reckless, furious, the sea his weapon, darkness his armor. But invincibility has a flaw. It breeds carelessness. When something arrives that was never written into the rules, you do not know how to answer it. The fight shifted. A wave fell short. A gust died mid-air. Then faster, the sea pulled back as if it suddenly remembered it too had a mother. Through it all, the grandmother watched. Through a crack in the wall, her grandson pressed to her shoulder, both of them shaking. She did not look away. Then the sky cracked. Light came through, not sunlight, something older. The sea didn't just calm, it stilled, as if it recognized who this coast belonged to. And Mumbaraka, for the first time, felt defeat. When Mumbaraka fell, the coastline held its breath. In the silence, the demon spoke. He did not beg, he did not curse. He asked for one thing, that his name not be erased. Pause here. This is what everything has been building toward. A demon, broken on the shore, he terrorized. Power gone, invincibility shattered. And his final request was not survival, not revenge. Memory. Some tellings say that in that moment, the ahankar, the armored ego that had turned a devotee into a demon, finally cracked. Beneath it was not rage, but a twisted longing to remain near the divine. He did not just ask to be remembered. He said, "Let my name never be separated from yours." Think about that. A demon's dying wish was not to escape the goddess, but to never leave her. Now imagine, you are the goddess. Before you lies the one who starved your people, broke their boats, sank their sons. And with his final breath, he asked to live inside your name. She did not hesitate. She did not look away. She said yes. Not to honor fear, but to mark where fear was overcome. Temple tradition calls this the cleansing, not merely a killing, purification. The demon of fear, Mumb, would live forever, but only within the mother's name, I. Fear swallowed by love, contained, permanent. From that moment she was Mumbadevi, the goddess who wears the name of what she conquered, not by destroying it, by holding it. And the land she protected took her name, Mumbai. Not a label on a map, a relationship. The next morning the water was calm. One boat went out before sunrise. The fisherman's wife stood ankle deep in the shallows, watching the sail shrink into a grey speck. He returned before noon. The net was full. By evening, more boats followed. Nets came back heavy. A boy stood on the rocks and counted. 7 left, 7 returned. That evening, the grandmother sat outside with a fresh net across her lap. Before, she mended nets out of routine. Now, she mended them in thanks, like touching a face after it has come home. Someone began one of the old boat songs, unsung for months. One by one, others joined, not because they were told to, because the silence was over and the first thing to return was music. They called her Mumba Ai. In Marathi, Ai means mother. Most people get this wrong. They think Mumbai is a new name, that Bombay was the original. It was the other way around. Long before a Portuguese ship appeared on this horizon, the Kolis were calling this coastline Mumbai. The Portuguese wrote it Bombay. The British kept it Bombay. For 400 years, the map said something else. But at the shore, before every voyage, in every prayer, every lullaby, it was always the same word. Mumbai. In 1737, the British moved the temple inland to Buleshwar to clear cannon lines during the Maratha wars. A goddess whose feet once touched the sea was carried into the chest of a rising city. And still the Kolis said her name. Every year at Narali Purnima, they cast a gold-painted coconut into the water and thanked Mumbai for another season survived. In 1995, the city was officially renamed from Bombay to Mumbai, but renamed is not the right word. For 4 centuries, the Kolis had spoken the true name while others used another. In 1995, the rest of the world simply stopped being wrong. It was not a new name given, it was the oldest name on this coast, finally spoken at full volume. Look at Mumbai today. The sea still comes. Every monsoon, the city floods. Trains stall mid-track. The Arabian Sea has not forgotten this land once belonged to it. And the fear Mumbaraka carried, fear of scarcity, of being swallowed by something larger, still moves through the city. It rides the 8:47 local to Churchgate. It sits in an auto at 2 a.m. driven by a man on his 14th hour because the EMI is due tomorrow. It sleeps on cardboard outside CSMT where a room costs more than a life back home. Mumbai is still a battlefield. The demon just wears different clothes and yet people stay. 21 million wake each morning in a city that should have collapsed. It doesn't. Trains run, dabbas are delivered. The fish auction at Sassoon Docks begins at 5 a.m. as it has for generations. Ask the oldest families and they will say, Mumbai is taking care of it all. If you want to see her, she is still here in Bhuleshwar. Past pyramids of jasmine, past queues scented with camphor and crushed marigold. Push through and you will find her. Black stone, orange vermilion, silver crown, layered in silk, and flowers so thick the stone nearly disappears. Besides her sits Annapurna, the goddess of food on a peacock. Protection and nourishment side by side, not theology or fisherman's prayer. Temple tradition says she is an incarnation of Prithvi, Mother Earth, the silent provider who sustains life, absorbs pain, carries burden without complaint. She is Sakshi, the witness. Mumbai is noise. She is the silence at its center. And here is what is easy to miss. Mumbaraka asked for his name to survive. He received more than he imagined. Every time someone says Mumbai, they are not honoring a demon. They are reminding him he lost. His name lives inside a mother's name now, swallowed by it. That is what mercy looks like when it comes from strength. The next time you say Mumbai, pause. You are not saying a city, you are saying a battle cry that became a lullaby. A word fishermen's wives muttered into the wind for centuries until the world had to say it too. And the next time the city survives something it has no right to survive, do not be surprised. The mother does not need a mouth to protect her children. She never did. Jai Mumbadevi. If you have ever said Mumbai Sambhalegi, type it in the comments. Let the timeline know whose city this really is. Subscribe to Temple Girl for more hidden stories behind our temples and traditions. We'll see you at the next temple.